Hey, what's up everyone? I wanted to do a quick ground stroke tips and tutorial video version 2.0. I did one earlier that was a little bit lengthy, but I want to kind of condense this one and give you the three things that I feel that are most important that's going to make the biggest impact and effect for you. Okay, and also afterwards I want to kind of use the time to kind of analyze, watch myself and analyze and kind of explain and share with you guys what I see I'm doing right, what I see what I'm doing wrong. And I urge you guys and I recommend you guys to videotape yourselves, because that is a great way for you to visually see what you're doing right, see what you're doing wrong. Like, obviously you can't see from an outside perspective. You can kind of feel what you're doing, but when you see things and you feel it, you combine those two, it's really going to make sense. And I believe you're going to be able to improve faster when you can actually visually see what's happening from the outside. Anyway, so let's get straight into tips. The first tip is this: I want you to find your right grip, find the correct grip. I mentioned this in the other video as well, and you can understand why I am doing it again, because it's very important in my opinion. That's the first step, because for me, finding the correct grip, you need to be able to have that, to have good foundation to kind of develop off of, right? Um, think of like a beginner when they're starting to play tennis. Once they're able to start making pretty good contact in the middle of the racket, are they able to sustain the rally, or are the balls flying out way past the baseline, or maybe over the fence or to the fence, or are the balls going to the bottom of the net or maybe into the ground, right? So this is why I want you to start with to find your correct grip. And even if you're able to if you're a pretty decent intermediate player, I still urge you to check your grip, because excuse me, I think a lot of us are still in the incorrect grip. Okay, obviously there's different grips, from Western, semi-Western, Eastern, Continental, etc., right? And there's everything in between those. A lot of pros and coaches kind of give you a cookie cutter grip, and nothing wrong with it, because that's kind of like a cool baseline to start off with. But again, in my opinion, there is no one grip fits all for everyone. So I want you to play and try different grips, okay? Especially if you find yourself missing consistently out, or missing consistently into the net, or hitting extreme errors. By that I mean missing the ball 10, 20 feet long to the fence, over the fence, hitting the ball into the ground, into the bottom of the net. Obviously, if you're doing those things, something's not right, and the first place to look is your grip. Okay, so I want you to adjust, try different grips. Again, trial and error, baby. You gotta get out there, hit enough balls. So that's step number one. Okay, step number two, I want you to focus on your finish. Okay, in ground strokes, in my opinion, there's three major things, right? The take back, the contact, the finish. But in my opinion, the most important thing that you should and you need to be focusing on is your finish. And this is what I mean. In my personal example, I'm focusing, like my forehand, I'm focusing on finishing a full windshield wiper, right? By that I mean just kind of having the racket go like a windshield wiper across. And that's kind of what I'm telling myself. That way I'm applying enough spin to keep the ball from flying out. It kind of helps dip the ball down, but also I'm kind of forcing myself to hit through the ball, right? Because another thing that'll help when you're focusing on your finish, or you're forcing yourself to finish, is this: when we play a match, we get tense, we get tight, our arms get tight, we end up like not wanting to miss, where we almost get afraid of missing, and we end up, what do? We end up stopping or slowing down our swings, which makes things worse, right? So by focusing on your finish all the time, you're actually breaking through that ice and limitation. So you can find visual examples that I think you should, that'll help you focus on your finish. For example, for example, for myself, I'm telling myself, okay, windshield wiper on the forehand side. Okay, as you can kind of see, I just windshield wiper. Um, on the backhand side, and also on the forehand side, you could do another example. Is this like Federer, how he catches the throat of the racket when he finishes, right? So it's almost forcing you to at least get to that point. Okay, so if you're reminding yourself, you're telling yourself, at least you'll kind of, break through and get there, and you're hitting through the ball versus getting too tight, too tense, stopping, slowing down your swing, and again, that's going to be worse. On the backhand side, I'm telling myself, and it's kind of hard to explain, but I'm telling myself to at least get to the point where both of my arms are fully extended forward. Kind of like if you could visualize Chris Evert way back in the day when she had the really pretty clean finish where she kind of followed through all the way up. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm telling myself. Get to there at least. And a lot of the finishes I do are, it kind of wraps around my shoulder and whatnot. So whatever happens after that happens. Okay, I'm just kind of letting it do its thing, but I'm telling myself at least get to that point. And someone else that does that finish really well is Karu Self, right? I think a lot of you guys probably seen his page and watched him play. Like, he's got probably one of the best and cleanest backhands, and I'm kind of trying to model my backhand after him as well because it's so good. So I'm telling myself, okay, sometimes you can kind of finish all the way through, but sometimes you can just you'll see me kind of finish and not really stop, but kind of stop at a point where, both my arms are extended forward and high. That's step number 2. Focus on your finish. Okay, step number 3 is footwork. I'm not really giving the best example here. I'm starting to try to bounce around and split step. We should start doing that more often. But I guess more importantly, I want you to get into the right position with the ball. Okay, and I'm going to use myself as an example again. For me, I had a bad habit, and I say I had because it's getting better. It's not good yet, but on my backhand side, I used to have a habit of letting the ball crowd me, getting too close to the ball, right? And it just made it hard to go cross court, but also made it hard for me to swing completely. So I'm telling myself, keep the ball off a little bit more off to the side. But you'll see as you watch me a little bit, I still let the ball get jammed more so on the backhand side. On the forehand side, you'll see I'm a lot more free and open. I can kind of take that free swing. But yeah, I want you to. So that's the third thing. Okay, get in good position with the ball, and I think the most important thing is to not let the ball crowd you. I think that's the underlying key point to take away. Have enough space so you can actually take a full and fluid swing as we're doing here. So those are 3 tips. I want to kind of get into more of like the live, the real-time analysis here. So I'm watching myself, and I'll make some comments. If you guys want me to make comments on your videos, whether it be kind of like match videos or kind of technical things, almost like an online lesson, I would absolutely love to. Just shoot me a message, and we'll kind of get that taken care of. But anyway, so here we go. So I'm trying to tell myself on the backhand side, okay, finish, boom. At least get to the windshield wiper side. Forehand, boom, finish. Apply enough spin. That one's a little close. You can kind of see me kind of falling to the right a little bit. Whereas the forehand, I'm not really falling over. I look a little bit more balanced. So I'm still trying to improve the backhand side. It's getting a little bit better. So finish, right? That one's way too close. You can really see my arms really like too close to my body. That one's still too close. Hopefully you guys could see what I'm talking about. So, videotaping yourself, I would highly recommend it because you're going to be able to see things that you really can't, obviously, yourself, right? You can feel what's going on, but when you see things and you feel like what you're doing right or wrong, you add those things together, I believe it's going to help you improve so much more because you can see if you're doing it correctly. You can see yourself how much, like here, for example, how close am I to the ball? How much more room do I have to give myself, right? Another thing on my backhand, again, there's getting into different things now, is the take back, right? The length of your swing. I think I'm going to start working on a little bit more of a bigger take back, so my swing could be a little bit longer. That way I get, see how my backswing on the backhand side, it's the racket, my arms are still to the left of my body, even when I turn and take that racket back. I want to see my racket a little go back a little further, where it's almost like in line with my body, right? So like the forehand side, it's not, it's still pretty short. It's still, the forehand side is to the right of my body, but it's okay because it's more of a free swing. I can kind of generate faster acceleration with one hand versus two hand. That's why, in my opinion, I think you got to get a little bit bigger and longer swing on the two-handed backhand because of the little limitation with your swing speed with the two arms versus one. Let's see. So, I mean, most of these rallies were great. I mean, besides that one. Anyway, hopefully you found that helpful. Catch you on the next one. Thanks for listening.